Song of Myself is probably the most central work in Whitman's poetry. It's divided into 52 different sections, each of which has a very different theme, a very different subject matter, but together they are Whitman's attempt to put himself, his soul, his being, onto paper and into words. It went through numerous revisions over the course of the project of Leaves of Grass, but overall it was the central work that he worked the most on. And it begins with this very sense of him being the poet who will put himself onto paper in such a way as no poet before him has ever done. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume, you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. So not only is he going to tell you about who he is and show you who he is going to show you in such detailed and deep, meaningful ways that you will not just understand him, you will assume what he assumes. You shall in some ways become him and he become you. And this poem shall bring the two of you, it shall bring him and all of his future readers together into one being or idea, which in some ways, in Whitman's mind, is America. I loaf and invite my soul. Loaf suggests that he's not making a strenuous effort. He's almost kind of lying back and going, come join me. Come partake in this journey through my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. And we're going to get back to the idea of a spear of grass later on in especially part 6 of Song of Myself. But keep in mind also that his entire collection of poetry is called Leaves of Grass. He keeps coming back to this idea, this image of a single blade of grass as representing the whole of humanity. Just as a single person, in this case Walt Whitman singing himself, can represent the whole of existence. And we see this in the third stanza. My tongue, every atom of my blood, formed from this soil, this air, born here of parents, born here from parents the same, and their parents the same. I, now 37 years old, in perfect health, begin, hoping to cease not till I die. He's connecting his very existence to his American heritage, generations back, but very much in the idea that nobody originally came from America, but he's also tying his existence to the land he is living on. My blood formed from this soil, this air, he's literally tied to the land that is America. And then we see in the fourth stanza of the first section, creeds and schools and abeyance. Abeyance means to push away, to cease, to not exist anymore. So creeds, the belief system you come with, and schools, the thought systems you may have learned. So we're going to push everything out. We're going to start from a blank slate, assume nothing, which is interesting since we shall assume what he assumes. We shall put our minds in a blank slate and learn what we can from Walt Whitman. Retiring back a while sufficed at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbor, for good or bad, permit to speak at every hazard. Nature without check, with original energy. So without hazard, he's not going to censor himself. He's not going to limit his thoughts because it might not be what we would now call politically correct. They might say back in the 1850s improper or socially unacceptable. But he's not going to hold anything back. And if you get into some of Walt Whitman, there's definitely some stuff which would be considered socially improper even today in the graphic detail he uses. He is going to try and get to the nature without check, so nature with nothing held back, with original energy. He is searching for the very heart and soul of existence through this poem about himself to teach you about yourself.